Hello and welcome to the J-Train Podcast. Every Monday and Thursdays with your emails, your stories, your questions. And we say it every episode. Tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell a brother, a sister, a mama, a papa, anyone with ears. We'll take them. We'll hear their problems. They can send their emails and we'll listen to what they got to say. We'll give the fun advice. You never know if we're nice, and we're gonna be all right. Get those emails, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. That's right, Mondays and Thursdays. A capacity audience here at the Feather Nation Studios. And listen, before we get into today's show, I got to thank you. Thank you for being involved with this show. This is what we do. We got Shelby here on the ones and twos, playing the hits.
Spinning them.
Yeah. And we are here. And listen, we do Patreon too. Patreon, $5 a month, 3 extra podcasts a week. Luxury Lounge, Coffee with J-Train, one more email. You know the deal. Go sign up, patreon.com. It doesn't stop. We don't stop. Patreon.com/Jared Freid, Patreon.com/Jared Freid. And listen, I'm coming on the road. I'm out there. We're doing shows. Atlanta, Albany. Come on out. JaredFreid.com, JaredFreid.com. Ooh, I like this jam. We're bringing it. You better be moving your toes. If you're not, what are you living for? Come on. Boom, 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 boom. J-Train Podcast every Monday, Thursday. Hey. Send in your emails and you got a guy situation that you don't know what to do. Very excited about today's guest, an OKP, but like an original key player. He's been on the show before. We always love having him on. Hilarious comic, host of the Man School 202, Dante Nero. Thank you for coming on.
What's up?
Dude, great to see you.
You started freestyling.
Every now and again, you pick up new things as the world goes round, and I'm so excited to have you. Everyone needs to go follow Dante at the Dante Nero. Hilarious comic, and I want people to know about your show. Explain, because the podcast you have is you've been doing it a long time and enriching people. There are people that are like you're their guy, you're their coach.
Yeah. A lot of guys that we work with.
Yeah. So explain the Man School 202.
Okay, so real quick, 2006, I was best friends with Patrice O'Neal. We did this thing called Black Phillip on the Opie and Anthony show, the Virus show. After Patrice died, I picked up the show, started doing it as a podcast probably in 2010. Mm-hmm. And I called it the Beige Phillip Show. Then a lot of gender fluid stuff started happening on, and I changed the name from that to Man School 202.
Okay. And what made you change it? What? Because listen, Dante's been on before. You're a fan favorite. It's been a while, so I like to update people on the origin story. How does it make the change to Man School 202?
Okay, so Patrice O'Neal was on Opie and Anthony, and he was giving advice, and he said, Opie said to him, "You're like the Black Phillip you're like the Black Dr. Phil," and he said, "Oh, you mean Black Phillip?" Right. So when I picked up the show, I'm a little lighter than him, so I called it Beige Phillip.
Yeah.
So that's how we got the name. And then I wanted to do something a little more generic so that you didn't have to know the origin story to follow the show. To get involved. And everyone needs to get, what day of the week we putting it out? Man School 202. I drop it every Tuesday morning. I've been doing shows. We've never missed a show for 10 years now. And I've been on iterations of it, and a lot, it's interesting because this show has turned into a lot of women come here. A lot of women come here with their emails. You deal with, men that are kind of trying to figure out how to put it together dating wise. Not everyone is just going out to bars and meeting new people or even feel comfortable on the apps. I think
you do it in a fun way, and you might not admit to this. I think you would admit to this, but you're helping guys kind of get out of their own way that just, can't figure out how to do something that might come easy to other guys.
Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of times there's a lot of dirtbags, but there's a lot of great guys, and there's a lot of great guys that don't know how to package whatever, what they have to offer a woman. And they just and they do things that really get in the way and turn women off instantly by what they do.
Yeah. And it's like and I love that you said packaging, because that's a big part of it. Like listen, when Dante Nero comes down the street, he's coming. He's got the jacket on, the shoes, the rings. One time, I'll never forget it. Your car is amazing. You have this amazing truck, and it is big on huge wheels. And I remember, and the horn, whatever horn that is,
it's a train horn.
It's a train horn you put on your car. And I was walking up to the comedy club, and you beeped at me, but it literally went up my asshole and shook me. Like it felt like I was like, what? Like, what is going on? And it legitimately, like, I had like bad nightmares from it the rest of the night. But I was like, and then when I saw it was you, I was like, oh my God, Dante. Like and it's but packaging is was there a time? There was a time where there was like this like pickup artist thing going on.
Yes.
But you're not really doing that. I would never refer to you in that way.
Here's an interesting about that. The pickup artist stuff is about the packaging, right? The problem is that it's inauthentic. And so guys will do these things that will actually get them laid or get them in the room, or get them on the date or get them back to the girl's house. But then there's this level of inauthenticity that happens. And even if they were able to fool the girl past sleeping with them, it all starts to fall apart soon after that.
It seems to, like, that whole, like I hear about, like, when sometimes people write in about guys negging, and I'm like, ugh, that, like, it kind of, like, you get like gross out. You're like, oh my God, it feels like it's someone telling you about their Nokia cell phone. You're like, what era is this person from?
Right.
The idea, and it's like negging is one of those examples that you go, that's not authentic at all. You're going to keep that up until you're 80 years old. You're going to be telling your wife like, oh, you can never cook. Like, no, like it's like you can't keep that up.
But the thing about the negging, it's like just the word itself says that you're trying to find something that's negative so that you can highlight it and point it out to get an upper hand, because if somebody, we're all insecure. And so when somebody points out these little insecurities, we get defensive. And then when we get defensive, we don't scrutinize people as much, because we look in. We're looking in like, oh, does he see that one of my eyes is lower than the other, or one of my boobs? So
it's almost like you look in because you've been outed. You're like, oh my God, I feel naked almost.
Right, exactly. And so guys do that as an opportunity to so that the girl she's not, well, let me, because initially a girl is like, okay, he's good looking, and she's going thumbs up or thumbs down. And that negging kind of switches the power structure. The problem with that is that there's an inauthenticity in that. So if and one of the reasons why I deal with guys, I think I have a lot of women that listen to the show, but they listen to the show because they want to know how guys think.
Sure.
And I think that's just the smarter thing. It's like, I never say, I say this all the time. You should never take guys should never take relationship advice from women, because if you want to hunt a deer, you got to ask the deer. You can't ask you got to ask the hunter, not the deer. Okay. And women are women. They are what they are, in all their glory and all their beauty, but they don't have to, there's no skill set to kind of to get it. All they have to do is show up, and they can get a guy.
And a lot of that has to do with male ego. Like, we're running towards them at all times.
Right,
and, a lot of that has to do with our insecurities are, problems, but also like that's the, there's pluses and minuses to everything. And It's like what you're saying is like when you hear a guy talk about it, it's almost like, a lot of times I'll say like, listen, I'm not like when it's raining out. All I'm saying is here's an umbrella to use. Like, sometimes it's about being a better buyer. Now you do consultations. Yeah. You do one-on-one consultations. And I think everyone, if you want to look into it, go DanteNero.com. Dante's hilarious, but he's great at this. You've taken people. I know people who you've taken under your wing.
Married with kids now.
Married with kids now. What is day one of a consultation with you, Dante? Like, what's question number one?
The first thing I do is I'll ask. Now, let me back up a little bit, because I think what's interesting is I think there's a thing when women think that there are no good guys out there. And I think there are good guys, but they, like you said, they don't know how to package it. And I think they don't have the confidence to kind of showcase what they are. And then, and the reality is that a woman that you're trying to talk to, how does she know you? You tell her who you are. Like, she has no way. She doesn't grow up with you. She doesn't know your friends. She's meeting you at a bar. So how does she know who you are? You tell her. But you tell her with your body posture, with your dress, with your tone, the way you talk, the confidence and all of those things. And you basically tell her that you're not worthy if you don't understand what the subtext of communicating is.
It's almost like you're like, how do I produce the pheromones?
Right.
You're like, how do I get an aura to come off of me that is I'm getting the opportunity to hang with you. Like, you want to like be, you don't want to look like a sale item. You want to look like you're full price.
The other thing is, I think you women are like, when women understand, they understand what their value is, and then they exude that. And then when a guy comes up and if she's hot, now she can be hot, she can be a dirtbag. She can be a horrible, horrible person.
Just like a guy could be, exactly.
Right. And so the point is that, but men kind of look at looks over everything else, because they're thinking with their lower half, and and this is, but it's interesting because women have access to sex. They're the gatekeepers for sex, but men are the gatekeepers for relationships. So the dilemma is that there are not opposing parts, but there's a part one and a part two, and so to understand that men, because ultimately men decide if they want to get married,
It's very interesting, because I've been thinking about this a lot recently, where I was thinking of like, who is it that men fear the most versus who women fear the most? Like, and I'm only going via emails that we get here and experience through this show. And, it feels like the fear of a lot of women that write in is like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be the cat woman, so to speak. I don't want to be the woman with 100 cats. But then you try to think of like, what's the fear of the man? And a lot of the, when women are like, these guys are afraid of commitment, they just want to have sex, they don't want to get serious. And you go, well, think of how scary the divorced man is. That's a scary figure, guy in New Balances and a shirt that is too young for him, with nothing in his fridge. Like, that's haunting.
And what happened? And also, it's like the fact that he has to get back out there again, where he probably wasn't good at it in the first place. He probably got lucky in the first place. So, but I think the social dynamics of dating is there's a skill set to it. We all know people who are really good at it and people who are not good at it. And that's not necessarily a relevance to what your personal value is. So
you can so what you're saying is, you can be bad at it while also being a high value, great person.
Sure. Totally. I think I always say this, I don't know if you ever seen that commercial on the IKEA commercial where the lady comes out, she looks at the price, and then it's so low that she's like, Henry, start that car. She's running because it's so cheap. The prices are so, she thinks like she's stealing. So I always tell guys, this is going to be a little harsh, but I always say, you should never shoplift the pussy.
Okay.
You can't shoplift the pussy. You should be there in this situation. And if whatever the social interaction is, you should feel that you're worthy of that social interaction. And if you're not, she's going to know it immediately.
Interesting. Like you don't want to be that. Yeah, so you don't want to be that woman running out of the store, start the car. You got to be like, right. No, I should be here. I paid for this.
Yeah. In fact, I probably paid more than I should have paid. So you need to get somebody to carry this to my car. You know what I mean?
I love it. Everyone needs to go follow Dante at the Dante Nero. Go follow Man School 202. That's the podcast every Tuesday. I want everyone to go get involved, get subscribed. Such a fun show. And he's doing consultations. If you're out there, you're going, how do I figure this out? You want one-on-one help? Go to DanteNero.com. Go sign up. I know people married with kids, Dante proteges that are, it's interesting because it's like I meet those people and you'd be like, if they ever pointed, I worked with Dante, you'd be like, you worked with him? You wouldn't even, and I love it.
Well, I don't even call them proteges because my whole, I think, one of the things that I've learned, I'm 54 years old. I've seen more sunsets than I'm going to see. And what I find is that there are things that are the thing that we cherish the most, we value the least. So if you think about it, it's, I have an acronym. The acronym is authenticity is ACE. Authenticity, credibility, and empathy. It's authenticity is telling the truth. Credibility is saying what you mean and meaning what you say. That means if I say I'm going to pick you up at 8:00, I'm there at 8:00. If I say I got your back or I'm going to do something, I do it. I'm not wishy-washy. And I also have the empathy to understand that what my counterpart or the person that I'm socially interacting, that they have concerns that I don't have. I don't think guys never realize that every time a woman goes out on a date, she has to be afraid that you might murder her. Like that's a concern that we don't have at all. I mean, forget about rape.
Yeah, no, but you're right. You're right, and that's a concern that we don't generally. Come meet me at my apartment for the first date. We say that, and they're like, "What? Who?"
And even when they're comfortable with you, how many times do the girls go and text their friend, "I'm here. This is the address. I just walked in," because that's not a concern. I mean, you've never texted me to go, "Yo, I'm going." You know what I mean? It's just not what we do, and so to not consider the fact that that's an actual consideration for every woman that you talk to. So what's interesting about that is like, they don't have time to figure out how good you are. You have to put that up front. So a lot of times if guys are indecisive mean it kind of relates to deceptiveness. Like, why are you not sure?
Well, yeah, totally agree. And to go back for a second, when you don't consider, hey, come to my apartment is like a dangerous thing for them, that should tell a woman from the other side, like, this is all, he's not even considering you.
He doesn't care. Exactly.
He's only cares about one thing he's thinking with below the waist again.
Absolutely. And it once that deceptiveness, so indecisive means deceptive. Deceptive means dangerous. Dangerous means, I gotta get out of here because that is a consideration. And so there's an empathetic place that you have to come from when you think about any guy, if they ever thought about that when they invited the girl over, right? They wouldn't just be, hey, yo, come over. You know what I mean? They would. You would consider that if you had this. So the empathy is being able to see it from the reverse situation, and you can't really. And you have a nice guy. You can't, like, how we've heard this 1,000 times where her girlfriends will be like, he's nice, give him a chance. That's the kiss of death. Yeah. Because you're asking a woman who is very defined and strong in terms of her personality, you're asking her to be weaker.
To lower a standard, to
lower
give
her
someone a standard. Yeah, give them a chance, a charity case.
Yeah, there's no such thing as no woman screws a guy or sleeps with a guy because of pity. Well, maybe once, but never again. that's just not attractive. So
listen, I want everyone to go follow Dante at the Dante Nero. He's been on the show many times. Always fun to have you on, Dante. You ready to do some emails?
Man, I miss you, bro.
I miss you too. It's so good to see you at the Dante Nero. Let's do some emails. I like this one because it's a woman writing in, and I think you can give it to her straight as far as some answers here. She writes, Jared, thanks for the show. I came for the laughs, but somehow ended up learning things, so I figured you might be able to solve some dating app mysteries for me. I recently got back on Hinge after a hiatus/busy work season. One of the main differences between this app and others is I can see who's swiped on me. Two things have confused me about the dating app world. Okay, here's her first one. I get a fuckload of likes from guys I've matched with before. I know this happens to everyone, but still confuses me. If we tried to chat a little once and the conversation fizzled out, or we actually made it onto a date or two and became mutually uninterested, I don't see the benefit of doing it again. That being said, I wouldn't have matched the first time if I didn't find them at least somewhat attractive. Is there ever a benefit to rematching with someone, and how would you even approach a round 2 of dating? So let's take our first question. What do you think of that, Dante?
So first of all, I think what she's doing also is she's taking it seriously. She's assuming that there's this, the guy, like people do this, guys do it, girls do it. Well, they text me, what do they mean when they said this? And which innately says that you're not really ready for the Super Bowl. Like you're already trying to figure out what the right step is, simply because you don't feel like you should be at the Super Bowl in the first place. So everything's got to be perfect.
You've also eliminated your own taste. Right. If they're coming back the second time and you're going, well, I did find them hot the first time, so there's got to be a reason for the second. Why are you convincing yourself? At what point do you go?
Right.
Well, I did go on that first date, and I did. Why is there? What I find a lot is she's looking for answers to her emotions via the other guy. So she's going, he liked me again, so I must not. My emotions
must be wrong with me. When it might be that it might be just that she doesn't like. See, but that's a very insecure perspective if you think about it, because what you're in essence saying is, if he likes me, then I must be good. But if he doesn't like me, then see, the same is true. It's like a saloon door. It swings both ways.
Sure.
If he doesn't like me, then I must be shit, which that has nothing to do. Sometimes people just don't fit. And even in the context of going out on a date, sometimes it got people are nervous. And this is an interesting thing, about, because we just started really doing comedy again and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And every comic that I know, every comic that I know goes, I got to get some sets in to knock the rust off. But I've been doing it 20 years. You're at least 15. You've
11.
learned everything that you need to know about stand-up comedy.
Sure.
But the problem is when you lay off, you are afraid that you're not as funny as you were. And so the sets don't knock the rust off. It just makes you believe that you're as funny as you were.
Absolutely. It gives it's giving you the confidence, so to speak.
Right. And the minute you remove the fear, right, your brain opens up and you can access all the technique that you've learned for 20 years because it's like everything kind of slows down. So the same thing is true. You got to have that kind of same confidence, because if you're allowing other people to define you, then it won't be long. It won't be long until you ain't shit, because somebody's going to think you ain't shit.
And I think what you said in the beginning is so important. First of all, eliminating the fear. She's fearful of, am I missing out on something I didn't see? What you said at the beginning, where you're talking about I lost my train of thought for a second. That she's taking this too seriously.
Yes.
Them coming back should show you they don't take it as that seriously as well.
Or they really like you.
It could be one or the other. I think when guys come back, they got to come back harder. They got to come back stronger. They got to come back more decisive. So for them to like you again, they have to say, hey, they have to be so upfront. Hey, I really am pissed off. I missed out on that. That we fizzled. We should do dinner this week. I already know. There's no conversation needed. If they're coming back with a light like, if it's
Right.
just a second like, that's
Right.
them going, yeah, I'd fuck.
Yeah, I give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I'm still here offering the same casual that you didn't want before, the same laziness that I wasn't willing to put in before. So that's an important thing too, is like, I think she's living in the land of black and white, which is fine. She's living in the land,
but it doesn't exist that way.
That doesn't exist that way. There's a lot of I'd fucks out there. And it's like these guys are sitting there going,
most, I'll fuck.
Yeah, it's a thumbs up from the sideline. And if is that how you want to be asked on a date? Is someone on the sideline going a thumbs out? It doesn't sound like that. It's so let's get to our second question.
Cool.
I've gotten a couple likes from coworkers. There's only one I'd consider dating, but it really threw me for a loop because he's never showed any interest in person. I'm wondering if it's a mistake or what his angle is here. And if he's interested, I'm not sure or how I should respond. He's really cute, smart, and I'd be interested in getting to know him better, but I'm not sure that it's worth putting myself in an awkward or risky work situation. Office dynamics make dating in my field difficult. So what do you think of that, Dante?
So I was counseling this dude, and he was really getting good at these social interactions. Somebody we know, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
And this girl was on the train, and she's looking at him, he's looking at her, and he tells me that she's basically going, look, I like you. Ask me for my number.
With this look she's giving him.
Right. She's giving him to come hither, and he just, because of the fear paralyzes him in his way. It paralyzes him not to be able to do that. And he's telling me, yeah, man, I go, do you understand if you had just been honest? If you had just walked up to her and said, I really want to talk to you, but you scare me. And how adorable is that?
Yeah, that is cute.
It is adorable. It's that now once you break the ice with that, you gotta bring the goods. But what you're saying is, look, I'm confident enough to be vulnerable because and I'm already being honest and authentic about what my feelings are.
That's interesting.
That's what you want in the first place.
You took that question. It's interesting because it's a different question from the same person. So I kind of thought of it in a different direction, but I think you're right as far as like, listen, the person from work isn't going to work out. But if you go up to them and you go, hey, this is crazy that we matched. We never really talked, but it's kind of weird. But I've always thought you were cute. Just wanted to say hi. Like, that's a confident way to go in. Yeah. And you're letting that person know that they have been seen. So I think with dating apps, it is the hardest part is the loss of consequence. Like this guy from work gets to say you're hot without yelling it out in the office. Right. So now he's said it. She is now, based on the confidence that she's showing, she says it might be a mistake. There are no mistakes. Let's stop living in a world where there's mistakes. There's no mistake that he made where he liked a picture of someone he knows from work. No. He liked the picture because he thinks you're cute at a baseline. Right. At a baseline. What that means, you are here to date. What matters is what you're here for. Now, if his like was sent to just be like... Let
me re-up that. I always say you have to put your happiness first.
Yes.
Because if you don't put your happiness first, nobody else will. So I'm not saying that you can't, once you're in a relationship, guys, girls, everybody needs to make those compromises. But initially, I don't give a fuck about you. I just think you're cute. And let's see if we fit. If we don't, we don't. If we do, great.
And if you come in with that attitude, then this guy is put at a place of go on the date or back away. He's probably going to back away. I think most people who do send a like to someone from work, it's a tester of like, hey, would you get a little weird with me at work? I do think that because they're basically putting aside the consequences of a workplace. Unless, of course, he
really likes her. But
that might be the case.
But what you're doing is you're expanding the social contract by approaching him. And so what you really do is you make him he's got to be either serious or not.
Yes.
Like, hey, I know we're at work and this is a little awkward, but I thanks for liking me and saying I'm cute, you know?
That's the interesting part is like, you're getting the black and white that maybe you want. It's, I think you're cute. I'd love to get drinks or not. He might just be nice, and that's or not. That's no. The J-Train podcast is brought to you by Rothy's. I love this sponsor, and if you've listened to this show, you've definitely heard me talk about them. The comfortable, washable, and sustainable shoe and bag company that makes getting dressed easy. They're carefully crafted with eco-friendly materials like repurposed plastic water bottles and marine plastic. It's no surprise that Rothy's best-selling shoe, the Point in Black, has over 5,000 near-perfect reviews. I got them for my mom. She loves them. They're the perfect in-between shoe. They're the shoe that you can go out in and not feel sloppy, and you know what? They keep because you can throw them in the wash. Rothy's comes in an ever-changing array of colors, prints, patterns, and range of styles. Rothy's shoes are seamlessly knit with thread made from plastic water bottles, so they're ultra comfortable as soon as you slip them on. That's right, there's zero break-in period. That's huge. Nothing worse than putting on a shoe that feels bad. This is going to feel good right away. Refinery 29 says Rothy's are equal parts comfortable and chic. That's what we all want. And Health says they're the most comfortable shoes on earth. Plus, Rothy's always comes with free shipping and free returns on eligible items. Rothy's has transformed nearly 100 million bottles into beautiful shoes, handbags, and face masks. So you're going to feel good about wearing them. They're going to be comfortable, so you're going to feel good physically. You're going to feel good mentally because it's getting, you're using, they're made from plastic, and we're keeping plastic out of the landfills. And another major bonus, they're fully machine washable. Every time they need a refresh, you can simply toss them in the washing machine. Check out all the amazing shoes, bags, and masks available right now at rothys.com/jtrain. That's rothys.com. rothys.com/jtrain. Style and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/jtrain today. The J-Train podcast is brought to you by Chime. There is nothing more annoying than overdraft fees. And everyone listening has dealt with them in one way or another. Your bank shouldn't work against you. Enter Chime, an award-winning app and debit card with no hidden fees or monthly minimums. It's your money. You should keep it. Chime has some great features like fee-free overdraft on up to $100 in debit purchases with SpotMe. It's like overdraft protection, but better. Get your paycheck benefits, stimulus check, and tax return up to 2 days earlier with direct deposit. No hidden fees or monthly minimums, plus 38,000 fee-free ATMs with MoneyPass and Visa Plus Alliance. Security. Turn on alerts to let you know when your card is used and instantly block your card if something seems fishy. And save on autopilot. When you sign up for a Chime spending account, you can enroll in an optimal savings account and grow your savings automatically with 0.50% annual percentage yield, 10 times the national average. Join the millions on Chime. Sign up takes 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Apply now at chime.com/jtrain. That's chime.com/jtrain. And here's the fine print. Chime is a financial technology company. Banking services provided by the Bank Corp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. members and FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limit apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases. Limit starts at $20 and may be increased up to $100 by Chime. Early direct deposit depends on the payer. Out-of-network cash withdrawal fees apply. Third-party and cash deposit fees may apply. Go to chime.com/jtrain for details and apply today. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Dante Nero. At the Dante Nero, Man School 202 every Tuesday. Go get subscribed to his podcast. He's doing consultations one-on-one. DanteNero.com. Go.
And if not, you can check out my Patreon. I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I do emails and stuff on patreon.com/manschool202.
There it is. Let's do one from a dude. Okay. Okay. Guy wondering, should I keep trying to make something happen? That's usually a no.
It's always a no.
New listener here, already a big fan. I met this girl at a small wedding a few months ago in Idaho. My cousin was getting married, and she was the sister of the bride. We got set up a bit and immediately hit it off. Was texting before she came into town, hung out all weekend, kissed, made out multiple nights throughout the weekend, etc. She went back to where she lives, and I stayed around and worked from home at my cousin's place. I told her I just wanted to keep it casual and stay in touch and see where it goes from the start, but I will say we did start talking a lot more than casually. We kept talking almost every day after FaceTiming at night and Snapchatting throughout the day. We made plans for her to come out to where I live for Labor Labor Day. This is from way back when. But then a few weeks before, she backed out due to not being able to get off work, but then called off the whole thing. We had / have going. A week after she bailed from Labor Day, we started talking again. She said she decided to come out to my hometown for Thanksgiving, which her sister and my cousin's family come out to every year. She never has come out in the 6 years my cousin and her sister have been dating / engaged. I was a bit confused but excited. We started talking again where we left off, and then I said I was thinking about coming out to her for Halloween. She was on board and started talking about all the things we would do. One night when she was a bit drunk, she called me and started saying she wanted to do the whole thing and even called me babe. Then a week later, the same thing happened and she kind of backed out. Then last week we started talking again and I kind of called her out for going back in and then backing out, how it seemed like she gets close to someone and then wants to back away. She said she got burned on her last relationship and is nervous. I told her I'm not trying to jump into a heavy long-distance relationship, but also think we have something here and want to see where it goes. I'm working remotely for the next year or longer, so flying out isn't a problem for me, and honestly looking for a new place to live anyways, so why not see where this goes? Which I didn't disclose to her, but I just what I'm thinking. She's a bit younger, 23, soon to be 24. I'm 26. Her last relationship was a hometown high school and college type, and that's the only one she's had. So my question is, do I keep going and try to see where this goes, or just bag it and move on, then casually, awkwardly see her over Thanksgiving? I do like this girl and want to see where it goes, because why not? I realize her emotional maturity may be a bit different than mine. I am an open person, talk things through, where she kind of just keeps them to herself and then runs away. What do you think, Dante Nero?
Here's the thing. First and foremost, he's saying he's an open person. She's a closed person. She's hot and cold. He's not. He's trying to make these moves. She already is saying we don't match.
Yeah.
And so he keeps going in. And the thing is, this is 5 or 6, maybe 7 times that they're back and forth. She likes keeping you on the string, dangling the carrot, and she likes the attention. But she doesn't. But if you're okay with that, that's fine. But understand that's what there's an analogy I always say. It's like you can't buy a house based on what it was appraised 10 years ago, and you don't buy it for what it's appraised for 10 years from now. You gotta. What is it right now?
Well, that's a very good analogy, because I was thinking very similarly where. This guy, this email to me is genderless. Male, female have been on either side of this. So I do think that in a situation, the person that's wishy-washy knows you're right, knows you're good, knows you're a catch, and then but they also know your situation is definitive. It is, and he says, I could be not serious. I'm not looking to get into anything soon, but you're more serious than she is ready for.
Yeah.
She's looking at you and going, I know that this goes from where we are now to family knowing about it, cousins knowing about it, relationship, long distance. Maybe it's a casual at first, but it's always going to be moving towards something that I'm not looking for. And sometimes you have to acknowledge that, and you have to look at her, and he has to look at her and go, yes, she's always going to be enticed by you because you're what her parents want. You're what, a good dude. You're what society has told her. But she's not ready for societal stuff yet. She's 23, soon to be 24, looking to hang out in her hometown. And even when he said, he's like, I could wait, I don't need to get anything serious. But the one line, flying out isn't a problem. Honestly, looking for a new place to live anyways. Like, if I heard that from someone that I made out with at a wedding, you know what? I'm looking for somewhere to live anyways. I'm like, no. I'm backing away from this because now I'm a part of your life story. I'm not looking to be a part of your life story.
That's a good catch. I mean, the other thing that I think is interesting is that he's asking, what should I do? You already know what your options are. Your options is to stay on the hook, chat, make plans, and her blow you off. That's what she's done every time that you've done. So that is still what's on the table. You don't have there's not on the table for you to be in a relationship. It's not on the table for you to move in with her. It's not even on the table for you to actually see her. What really I think is interesting is that she doesn't respect him. She doesn't respect his time. She knows what his intention is, and she's stringing him along. And the fact that he keeps letting her string him along says to her, that he doesn't value his time and himself as much as she does her. And he's putting up with it, which why would she be attracted to a guy who's basically going to take whatever she throws at him anyway?
I mean, that goes for anybody, too. That's
anybody.
It's an interesting thing. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com, JTrain Podcast at gmail.com, here with Dante Nero, at the Dante Nero. Go follow. Man School 202, every Tuesday. I like this one. To fuck or not to fuck? Okay. Down and dirty. So here's the sitch. My ex and I broke up over 3 years ago and had the messy on-off sleeping together thing for a year and a bit after the breakup. We then lost contact. I assumed I'd never hear from again. If it matters, I was the last to reach out as I got sober, and part of my recovery process was to make amends with those I'd hurt. So in January of last year, I got in touch to apologize and didn't hear back. I was okay with that and assumed he didn't want to be in contact. I moved on. Cut to last night. This was sent 3 days ago. Cut to last night. I'm in my room chilling, watching Below Deck with a face mask on, and my phone starts to ring. Lo and behold, it said X. I was stunned, but picked up, and we chatted for over an hour, catching up on life. He was a little drunk, and the conversation turned to how good our sex life was. He was very forthcoming about how no one had compared to me since, and how much he loved me way back when. It was nice to hear, but also a little awkward. We said we should hang out for coffee and see each other in person to catch up. The issue is, I've wanted to be friends with this dude for as long as I can remember since the breakup. He's someone I didn't want to lose in my life, but now the option is there. I'm not sure I need it. Through recovery and sobriety, I've done a lot of growing up and have realized a lot of stuff myself and our relationship. The space was really good for us. I know I am totally over him and happier alone. However, due to the pandemic, I haven't had much luck dating/having fun, casual sex, which is what I'm looking for. I know if we may meet up, he will probably try to fuck me, so should I do it? The sex is great. We know each other's bodies, so it's guaranteed good times, but is it worth the potential mess? I know on my side I've grown, and in addition to being fun and satisfying, it would be good to test to see how emotionally strong I really am when I walk away. I'm curious how emotionally strong I really am when I walk away. I'm curious, but also apprehensive. What are your thoughts? Is sleeping with an ex a good idea when you're emotionally over it? Because I don't care about having a friendship. Is it worth the risk? As always, thanks for being the daddy of decision making. So what do we think of this, Dante?
So first thing, I think she can do whatever she wants. The problem is, again, so I go back to to ACE. Authenticity, credibility, empathy. If she's authentic and she says, listen, I know we vibe. I just be honest about it. I know we vibe. I'd like to hook up, but understand my feelings are not the same. I would always want you to be a friend of mine, but I don't know if we'll continue that or whatever, but I would like to hook up. This way it's all up front and he can make a decision from a real perspective, you know what I mean? As opposed to now, if he's a grown man and he has, if he's trying to, trying to get out of the friend zone where he wants more, you've already established that, and you make him. And I always say, you make him declare his understanding of what do you understand what I'm. Don't just let him give you the glaze eye where where you're just staring. Go, do you understand where I'm coming from? I like you. I like our friendship. I don't know where we go, but I really just want to kind of hook up and be casual. And at any time that I feel uncomfortable about this, I'm going to end it.
I'm with you to a certain extent. I think the thing that changes it for me is her sobriety. And
yes, good point.
Because she wrote something that's like, that I'm like, I understand what she's saying, but I don't think it's what she. Listen, I am no professional when it comes to my strength. I want to test. It's exactly.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
I don't think sobriety is something to be tested. You're testing it every day as a test.
It's tested every day. Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to throw in some obstacles towards your. And she said, "I've learned a lot. I've been happier." I think the reasons she gives for having sex with him do not outweigh to me the potential of being brought back to a place in your life where you are not your best. So when she says, I haven't had luck dating and having fun casual sex, which was what I'm looking for. I know if we met, we'd probably try to fuck me, so should I do it? The sex is great. Like, you can find great sex. We know each other's bodies. You can learn someone else's body. So it's guaranteed good times. There are good times to be had with other people. But is it worth the potential mess? Now, the potential mess is you getting emotionally involved with him. He is obviously a drinker. He called you while drunk, and it moved towards sex. So now you know exactly what he's after, and you know that he's a selfish person. Like, which also may be what she wants, is because he wants to hook up. He wants to fuck her. She wants to fuck him. The point is this, especially I counsel a lot of dudes, put dudes in rehab and stuff like that. What's interesting is, there's people who cannot go to a bar. Like, once they get they will not go to a bar. They will not hang out with people. So they know what their limitations are. And there's people who are around people, and you'll go, I don't drink, but, do what you want to do. I'm fine. So this is really about being honest, again, about being authentic to yourself. Like, am I really this person that can do this kind of casual thing with somebody who I had something, like you said, and maybe I wasn't the best, but that's a personal decision, and really getting the confidence to get to the point where you know who you are, what you can do and what you can't do is the whole point of her sobriety in the first place. She might be there. Right. And obviously she can. It's very, to me, there's less landmines in moving on from this person. And like, here's the problem with going back to any ex. Familiarity sometimes gets confused as love. And it's like,
sure.
And it's like, it's comfortable familiarity. And it's like, I know you've wanted a friendship with this dude forever, but like, he didn't even come back to you in a I want a friendship way. Like, the way people come back to you is like, you gotta believe them. He's drunk. It moves towards sex. Like, he's never won a friendship before. The moment you needed him most to like actually respond to you, he didn't when you did your apology, which, listen, I would assume in AA, that's a big part where it's like, if someone doesn't respond, that's their right. I get that. But he didn't. He had the choice, and now it's the end of a pandemic.
But he also could have let it. I mean, the fact that he calls her drunk is always the point. I think the real problem is that if she can't honestly say if she's still working to the place where she doesn't know who she is, then this is not something that she should do.
Yeah.
In order for her to cross this line, she's got to be really clear about who she is, what she is. I had a friend of mine who left his wife. His wife left him. And then because he was familiar, she would just come back and fuck him. And then he would go, I really want us to get back together. And she was like, you see, this is why I don't come over here. And she'd run out. And so she was like,
look what you're doing to me.
Right. And I said to him, you're too attached to her to have this casual thing. Stop having the casual thing. It's hurting you because you can't do it. The question is, can you or can't you? The problem is when we start lying, like the other email where the guy says, plus she called me babe. You take this one microcosm thing of that's positive, and you want to focus on that, but you're not focused on the fact that she blew you off 8 times. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's because we want what we want. And what's interesting is I say this all the time. I'm telling guys all that when you go through a bad breakup, getting over your ex is 5 fucks away. Like, I know people don't want to, but it's not just the familiarity, but literally on a visceral level. I know your smell. I know your taste. I know how you touch me. You touch me in a way. Your voice even triggers the memories that we've had, all of the history from your voice, your smell, your cologne, how you walk, how you move, how you touch me. And so when we deal with exes, we go back to that because it triggers this kind of imprint that's happened to us. And so when you're hooking up with other people and you're moving on, you literally reboot the computer so that that's not the only thing that's great.
I love it. The J Train podcast is brought to you by Talkspace. Last year was rough on everyone. Me, you, everyone. And listen, I'm feeling higher anxiety. I'm sleeping less. I'm just thinking on some things that I think all of us are thinking on. Where does it go? Where have I been? Have I done enough? Am I doing enough? Am I on track to keep my life going? I'm sure you're all there. Now it's time for everyone to turn a corner with therapy. The sooner you start, the further you'll go. Therapy can change your life for the better across the board. Enter Talkspace Online Therapy. They are here to give everyone support because we all need it right now. I'm going to say right now, the thing that keeps you from going to therapy is probably not knowing who to go to. What do I do? What's the first step? That's where I love Talkspace, because the step is right there and it's something that's accessible. You can jump on the computer and take a look. And if you're thinking about these things, Talkspace has a place where you're not spending an arm and a leg, because you're not spending money on the rent. They've taken out the rent. Everything's online. So you can sign up online and start therapy the same day as you sign up. That's a huge thing. I'm the type of person that, hey, I want to do therapy. Who do I go to? I'll do it tomorrow. That's my process. This is, now you know where to go. Talk to your therapist through text, video, or voice memo 24/7 unlimited. Your therapist will hold you accountable and make sure you progress. Totally virtual. It's so convenient to do this from home. Never miss a session. Talkspace is the #1 online therapy platform. They have thousands of licensed therapists trained in over 40 specialties, including depression, anxiety, relationships, and more. Plus, it's totally private, using the latest end-to-end bank-grade encryption technology to store client information and comply with HIPAA regulations. Just for my listeners, you'll get $100 off your first month with Talkspace. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com or download the app. Make sure to use the code JTRAIN to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's JTRAIN and Talkspace.com, and find a space you can talk with Talkspace. The J-Train podcast is brought to you by Solo Stove. Spring sale on now. Get a free stand with any purchase of a fire pit. Wow, there you go. Make the most of the season and get the most out of your fire pit. Win-win. I'm telling you right now, spring is coming. Everyone is looking to go out, meet up with friends. You want to extend your space. Give a new hang to your already there home. So there's a corner of your yard, there's a part of your deck, there's a part of your roof that you're not using that you could be using to create some great times with good friends. Life's best moments happen around a roaring fire, and a smokeless fire pit from Solo Stove makes your fireside moments even more memorable. Solo Stove's ingenious smokeless design makes it so that you can sit back and relax and enjoy the warmth of the fire instead of dodging fumes. And everyone's looking to go out more and everyone's looking to be with friends. This is a perfect way to entice friends to come over and hang out and have a beer around the fire outside under the moon. This is great. And here's one more reason to love spring. Solo Stove is offering a free fire pit stand with the purchase of any smokeless fire pit during their spring sale. Get the most from spring and the most from your new smokeless fire pit. Win-win. Solo Stove is great because they let cool air pass under the pit, creating an insulated barrier that shields the ground like a wood deck. I love this. I love this for you. I love this for extending your space. I love this for getting friends together, especially after the year that we've had. Solo Stove creates story-worthy memory moments, fireside fumes not included. The stainless steel construction is designed to regulate airflow and burn more efficiently. There's so little smoke, you'll wonder how there's so much fire. No campfire smell on your clothes and hair, and nothing left but ultrafine ash for easy cleanup. From camp stoves to backyard bonfires, Solo Stove products are portable and built to last. Easy to light with a few bits of starter, your fire's blazing in minutes, and Solo Stove is so confident in the products they give you a lifetime warranty for every purchase. Here we go. Make this spring one to remember with a smokeless fire pit from Solo Stove, and get a free stand with any purchase of a fire pit. Just use our promo code JTRAIN at checkout. Make your Solo Stove even more versatile with the free stand with the purchase. That's solostove.com, promo code JTRAIN. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com, JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Here with Dante Nero at the Dante Nero. You ready? Let's do one more. Is that okay?
Sure.
I think we got time for it, and I sent it to you before. Okay. Emails. Here we go. I think this is a good one for us to get into, because it gets into there's lies going on, and I think this is a good one for us. Okay. It's called What is His Deal? Okay. J-Train, Shelby, and Guess. I'm in my late 20s doing the dating scene in New York. I was dating this guy casually for a couple months. The last month we were together, I started to get suspicious. An additional toothbrush next to mine in his bathroom, a blonde bobby pin on his table, suspicious texts, etc. Things ultimately fizzled out because he told me he wasn't dating anyone else, and then the next week reported that he kissed another girl. Since things ended, he has been adamant on being friends. I've lightly entertained this, responding to him occasionally. Fast forward to this weekend, I received this text from an unknown number. So we'll blur out all the number stuff.
Okay.
I'll be the unknown person and you be her. Okay?
Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm trying to get to the bottom of a dating mishap. Woman to woman, are you dating or with a guy named blank?
No. How did you get my number?
I keep getting hurt by him, and my friend did some internet sleuthing and found you. I don't know if you have any connection to him. I'm sorry I reached out. I can give you a call later if that will close the loop.
Sure. Curious to hear more. Give me a call when you have the time to talk.
Now, what do you think of that response? Like, she writes, my initial assumption is this girl is in the exact spot that I was in, and she's at her rope's end with his BS. I was happy to chat further with this person, but she never responded. So, what do you think? Like if I got that from if I was on the unknown number side, like. It's interesting that she didn't the emailer didn't be like, yeah, I know him. I was suspicious. Like just go right into it. Why are we being so cagey? But I guess you don't know who you're texting. I don't know. I would want.
I mean, it might also be because she's intrigued and maybe a little jealous that this other girl, so she's still in it in her own head while she's trying to feel it out to get the whole thing instead of just being forthcoming because she's over it.
Well, also she's trying to figure out her own mystery. She's got her own, Blues Clues thing going on. She's like, I saw the bobby pin. Maybe this is the bobby pin girl. This is the other toothbrush person.
Which means she's still in.
A little bit. Okay, so now let's.
If you're fucking a guy casually, and you don't care, why do you care about the bobby pin?
I guess that's a fair thing to ask because it's like, why? That is a fair thing to ask because it's like if this is casual to you, then the bobby pin you understand.
Unless again you're being inauthentic and you're being dishonest because it's not really.
Okay, well, she writes, prior to fully thinking the situation through of the unknown number, I took a screenshot and sent it to the guy. His responses are below. So she sends the screenshots, and you'll be her, I'll be him.
Okay. Hey, what's going on?
Jesus, I have no idea, but you're the second person to get these. I have no clue what is going on. But sorry, obviously. You can and should block. I've been trying to figure out who / what this is. A scam, I think, but I don't understand.
Oh, so weird. No worries, though.
Yeah, I don't think anything for you to be concerned about. Although I'm sure it feels kind of creepy to be on the receiving side of one of these. So sorry about that again. I've been trying to figure out what is going on, but this person keeps changing their name and saying I gave them COVID. Pretty certain I haven't had COVID, much less given it to someone. I really don't know what the deal is other than maybe either my IG or my phone itself got hacked. I don't know how anyone else could have your number or be able to connect us. So
the question is what? What does she want to know?
She writes, I'm honestly very entertained by his responses. I'm kind of entertained by them too, to tell you the truth. Like for him to say this, she writes, my friends and I cannot stop laughing at his response. This could be a scam. Could this be a scam? Is this guy just full of it? Is this girl just in the exact position I was in? I would love to hear your opinions. So Dante, what do you think this is?
Look, somebody he's messing with is who like wild out on him and she's stalking him and stuff, and she's stalking his pages and hitting other people up and trying to create problems with him. And that's probably because of what she said in the first place, that he was shady. He was dishonest and shady in the first place. So, I mean, my only question is, what does she ultimately want to do? I mean, she said the dude is shady. She already broke up with him.
The thing about casual is what you want. And it's interesting what you said before about like, she thought it was casual. Yeah. And she says it's casual, and then she's mad about a bobby pin. The problem with casual is we all have different definitions for it. Right. And what you want in the best type of casual relationships is two people who have the same definition without having to say it. That is the best version of casual, because it's still sexy, and it is like the 0.1% of casual situations is two people.
And it's a living, breathing thing. So as you interact, it's constantly changing. So totally. So this is why you have to be honest and credible, because when it changes, you got to say something. Because
totally.
If you don't say something, then you're in it hoping, because why? Because you don't want to lose, because you don't realize that you're willing to compromise your own personal value because you think somebody's better than you. And that's why you got to be the best version of yourself, so that you don't think that people are better than you.
And part of that is with being willing to lose someone. And, right. And what's interesting is I have this theory, the 10% theory. Like, I believe everyone is within 10% of each other. You might be 10% to the left or 10% to the right, but nobody's 100% different than me. This person, she's going, why would, maybe this person's having this. Yes, this person is 10% away from you. This other woman is going through the same shit you went through. She had the friend look through, do the sleuthing. They found you because of whatever tangential connection. They found your number. They got through to you, and they're going, I need to know about the bobby pins I'm seeing, because I'm freaking out because my version of casual isn't being met by this. And this dude is doing the same casual with everybody, and they all think it should be more than what they are getting. And it's like, and the world goes on and on. But the problem, then the reason this guy, and there's something very interesting in her email. She writes, he's adamant about being friends. These guys are always adamant about being friends, because they don't, instead of explaining that, I like being casual, I like having sex with a bunch of people at once, they'd rather be friends where people make mistakes as friends, instead of, I'm just going to be honest about how I want to be casual.
And the reason why he's trying to subsidize it with friendship is because he doesn't think he really deserves being casual with multiple women. He doesn't think he deserves that in himself. If I know who I am, I mean, like if you look at it like Mayweather, how Mayweather has 5 girlfriends, right?
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, he has 5 girlfriends that he rides, and they all have $20,000 purses. They all ride in the Learjet, and at any given time, one of them could say, well, I really like you, and I want us to be more, but I want you to get rid of these other chicks. And he would go, well, let me get the Learjet up so I can drop you off in Oklahoma. That's nice that you want that. Sure. That is not what I want, and it's been nice. I guess I'll see you, right?
And they could say, drop me off in Oklahoma, right. But you have to be willing to lose it.
Right. And I don't know if it's losing it, really, because, I used to say you got to be ready to take the L. But it's really not an L, because when you're with somebody that you're not compatible to, the loss is really in the time wasted with people who you don't have a future with in the first place.
There it is. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Dante Nero, always love having you on. Always love seeing you.
Love you too, bro. I miss you.
I miss you too. At the Dante Nero. Man School 202. That's the podcast. Consultations, one-on-one. DanteNero.com. He's got a Patreon. Get involved with that. Shelby, thank you for coming on the ones and twos. Killing it today.
Thank you, brother. You're the best.
At Classic Shelb on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Jared Freid. We're here every Monday and Thursday. Keep telling your friends. Keep telling your coworkers, your brothers, your sisters, and mamas and papas. We'll be back next episode. Boom. Don't forget to like the video you just watched. I have many more. Subscribe to the channel right now. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, you fool. There's even a bell you can click to. Now you've got your week set Monday through Friday. I'm here for you.